Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva bandhuscha sakha Tvameva Tvameva vedyadraminam Tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Jai Guru. Yatha sarvani bhutani pratibhanti stithani cha yatraivo pashamam yanti tasmai satyatmane namaha. Do you want to get floor chairs?
I'm okay.
Are you okay there, sound?
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
Okay. And you can move back over if you wish. The light is changed.
Good here.
So where are we in our text?
Chapter 11, number 44.
Chapter 11, verse 44.
Page 119.
Page 119.
Should I start?
Please.
Harsha Marsha Bhaya Krodha Kamakarpanya Drishtivihi Na para mrishyate yonta Sajivan Mukta Uchyate. He who is not assailed or polluted within by considerations or views of exaltation, jealousy, fear, anger, desire, and wretchedness is said to be liberated while living.
So we have this term Jivan Mukta, someone who's liberated while alive. So let's just take the hypothesis. What if what Vedanta teaches isn't true? What if your self's not dead? Lights off, nothing. Vedanta is still the most intelligent way to live. Being Jivan Mukta means being liberated while we're alive. The scriptures say it frees us from the compulsion for rebirth. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But what it does is give us a liberated personality in this very life. And here we have the marks of a Jivan Mukta but it also always implies practice. So let's go through these ideas that Vasishtha has enumerated. So the first one,
Should I read the English?
yes, please.
He who is not assailed or polluted within by considerations of exaltation.
Yes. So I was talking with a student today, and he's doing really well in his practice. And he was saying, it's like I'm always the witness. It's like all the things in life, they just go by. And he's just so full of gratitude, so full of aliveness. He's not assailed by the ups and downs of life. They happen ever in front of me. And of course, how do we get there? Viveka Vairagya Cha. When we study the qualifications of a fit student, remember when Shankara makes a list, what he lists first are the most important: discrimination and detachment. And no matter how far down the path we go, until we're sthita pragya, our wisdom is steady, it's still discrimination between the real and the unreal, the self and the not self, and vairagya, that desire to give up attachment to all experiences gained through the senses. Let go, let go, let go. And identification with any personal sense of self. If I think I'm a person, I'm deluded. Don't try to resolve the struggle of ego. Drop the struggler and do as you will. Next idea.
Is jealousy, fear, anger, desire, and wretchedness.
All these various internal emotions are all based on the idea that people, places, things, and conditions have the power to make me feel X, Y, and Z. I have these feelings, always boils down to the same: I'm not getting what I want, or I'm not getting rid of what I don't like. And the solution, I either need to fix the world or I need to fix me. It's so boring. And it's so repetitive. Give it up. Is that all the pieces? I think it is.
Yeah.
All right, next verse.
Section 4. Nishchayaha Chaturvida. Conviction is of 4 kinds. Chaturdha Nishchaya Prokta Purushasya Vicharinaha Apaddamastakam Chaham Mata Pitra Vinirmitaha Ityeko Nishchayo Rama Pandhya Yasadhi Lokanath. Conviction or determination is said to be in 4 ways: to a reflecting or inquiring person.
So,
I am an entity extending from foot to head and brought into existence by my mother and father. Such is one conviction, Rama, leading to bondage due to false or wrong observation.
So these are the various convictions in the intellects, ideas of self. The first, I'm a person. I pervade my body. I am the child of my parents. I came into existence. I'm born, I'm mature, I suffer, I get sick, I die. Vasishtha says this conviction is conducive to bondage, is conducive to suffering. Everything the mind presents based on this conviction ultimately leads to suffering. Next one.
Atita sarvabhavebhyo valagradyapyaham tanuh iti dvitiyo mokshaya nishchayo jayate satam. I am finer or subtler than the point of a hair, beyond all thoughts or suppositions. Thus, the second conviction or determination is born for the liberation of the virtuous.
So this is when we stand back. I am that witnessing consciousness, subtler than the body, the prana, the mind, the thoughts. All this is anatma, not self. And that space of pure awareness, never touched by the world. Going on.
Jagat jala padarthatma sarvamevahamakshayah tritiyo nishchayopyevam mokshayaiva raghuttamah. I am the inner soul or life principle of the things constituting the web of the world. Everything is me only, imperishable or undecaying. Thus, even the third conviction, best among Raghu Rama, is only for liberation or leads to liberation.
So I forgot to say that second one that we talked about is conducive for liberation. This third one, when I see the self as myself in and through everything. That's why I love that one mantra from Chandogya, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. All this is verily Brahman, all this is verily the self. Wonderful meditation to practice, looking into the eyes of people, of your pets, everyone, people that you on the surface may not like or may dismiss. The being looking out of those eyes is myself, the self. There are all sorts of interesting ramifications to this. I can remember I was talking to a friend of mine, says, God, Jim, sometimes I think you're so psychic. Are you reading my mind? And I go, no, but I know my mind. And when I know my mind, I know pretty much everybody else's mind too. We are more alike than we are different. Assume everybody is like you. They suffer and enjoy in the same way. Everything is God. Everything is the self. Going on.
Etesham prathama prokta Trishnaya bandhakrit sada Shuddha Trishna Trayat Satsvanye Jivan Mukta Vilasinaha. The first of these is said to be the maker of bondage or the cause of bondage, always by means of desire. But in the other three, Oh, sorry, I missed one.
You did the third.
Aham Chedam Jagat Sarvam Shunya Vyoma Samam Sada Evameva Chaturthopi Nishchayo Moksha Siddhaye. I and this entire world are always like the void sky. Thus, even the fourth conviction or determination is only for the accomplishment of liberation.
So this is the idea of Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. All forms, without exception, including my own body, mind, intellect, are just imagination. They are shunya, void like the sky. There's nothing really there. It's like a dream. It's like a hologram. Don't take it seriously. First one, I am my body. Everything's outside of me. This brings me happiness. That brings me misery. That's conducive to bondage. The second one, I am finer than the finest. I'm the witness, ever watching everything else. Conducive to liberation. Third one, everything is the self. All things are nothing but consciousness appearing as name and form. Fourth one, all name and form, including my own body, mind, intellect, and ego, is shunyata, void. Don't take it seriously. I cannot think a real thought. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Now, he'll summarize it. Next verse.
Etesham Pratama Prokta Trishnaya Bandha Kritsada Shuddha Trishna Trayas Vanye Jivan Mukta Vilasinaha. The first of these is said to be the maker of bondage or the cause of bondage, always by means of desire. But in the other three, the triple pure desires manifest the liberated while living.
Yes, and we summarize that. Going on.
Purnam Drishtim Avashtabhya Dhyetyaga Vilasinim Jivan Mukta Taya Swastho Loke Vihara Raghava. Rama, resting upon the full or fulfilled perception or knowledge, which manifests the renunciation of the object to be contemplated or conceived, move about or sport in the world happily or abiding in your own self with the state of liberation while living.
Yes. So the Jivan Mukta sees the fundamental unreality of all name and form, has given up thirsting, craving, jonesing. How? Shama, that peaceful state of mind when it rests in steady contemplation of the goal after having again and again detached itself from the chaos of the sense objects. How? Through a steady observation of their defects. How many times do I need to get kicked in the teeth? Swamiji used to say, go after the world. Let it drop you again and again. Let it kick you in the teeth. It's the only way to kill the ego. This is Shama. Steady observation of their defects. It's done through insight, not willpower. Then, reveling in the self becomes easy with mature vairagya. Well, what am I supposed to do in the world? What's my purpose? You fulfilled your purpose. Your purpose is self-realization. Well, now what am I supposed to do? Watch for residual prarabdha. You act. Or not. But the Jivan Mukta understands that what one does in the world has very little to do with being happy. What I have in the world has very little to do with being happy. Live out your karma. If you must have an ideal to follow, one, don't be a jerk. Ahimsa. Two, try to be of service. Do good, be good. Today, what can I do to alleviate the suffering of some being in the world? Make it a little bit less. Mark, when you were growing up in a Jewish home, did you have the term mitzvah?
Yeah.
What's a mitzvah?
I don't know specifically. There's a bar mitzvah, which is a celebration of 13 years old.
Mitzvah's a good deed.
Good deed, okay.
It's a good deed. A good Jew is supposed to do a mitzvah, a good deed every day. My teaching is universal. Or not. You may be too sick to do anything. It's okay. And always pray. Going on.
Anta Santya Satyak Sarvasho Vitarago Vibhasanaha Nabhinandati na drishti na shochati na kanshati ihitani hitai mukta sansare na vasidati. The liberated one does not sink down or perish in worldly existence by desires and displeasures. He does not rejoice, does not hate, does not grieve, and does not desire or expect.
Yes. So the surface part of the mind, of course, will have its preferences. But you yourself know the difference between a preference and an insistence. You will know the difference between an attachment or not. Can you let it go? Can you move on? Seeing the fundamental impermanence and emptiness of the world. Yet you're going to act. Krishna says every being is impelled into action helplessly by the force of Prakriti, of nature. What can restraint do? You're gonna do what you're gonna do. But like young college kids especially will have the idea, got to find the right career. Oh, God, help me if I choose the wrong career. Oh, I'm taking all the wrong classes. I should have majored in such and such and so and so, because the career is what's going to make it happen. Now, none of you guys are kids anymore. How many different jobs have you had?
I've had a few. A couple.
Only two?
I mean, no. Different careers, but yeah, different jobs. Yeah, many.
How about you? How many jobs have you had?
I think 5,
Yeah, and you're what, 30,
4,
34? And you sound, how many of you had?
5 or 6.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta get the right job. Sorry. That's the world. You do what's next. Even maintenance of the body is not possible without action. All right, going on.
Anta satyakta sarvasho vitarago vivasana bahi sarva samacharo loke vihara Raghava, Rama, having renounced all expectation within or in the mind, free from passion and devoid of mental impressions, sport or move about in the world, having all the necessary conduct outwardly.
Yes. So again, this is liberty, not license. The scripture says, act appropriately according to circumstances, but give up the expectation. I'll be happy when. It'll be better if. All that I need for peace of mind is right here, right now. Well, I won't do anything. Yes, you will. A force of the past. And you walk through the various activities of life. And this idea is sporting with it, or leela. It can be like an actor in a play, or like playing a ball game, or something like that. You guys went mountain climbing, didn't you, on your vacation? Yeah. Were you doing it to get a certificate? Or get what do they call it when they give you a bunch of stock? What do they call that? IPO. You get a mountain climbing IPO. Why did you go mountain climbing?
Sure.
Yeah. Such is life. Such is life. Yet it was work. Next.
Ayam bandhu ayam neti ganana raghu chetasam udara charita nam tu triloki bandhutam vrajet. This is a kinsman, this one is not. Such a consideration is of the mean-minded. But to those of noble conduct, the universe consisting of the 3 worlds attain to the state of kinsman.
Yes. So some of us move through life and I'm not talking to so and so, or they're not our kind of people, etc. But for the Jivan Mukta, everyone is myself. The Jivan Mukta is comfortable with anyone, everywhere. Why? Because she's comfortable with herself. Do not strive to be spiritual. Strive for authenticity. Do not strive to be the biggest personality in the social environment. Nor should you dash to the corner because you're the worst person in the room. Be open. Have humility. Good definition of humility. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. The Jivan Mukta finds the human story wonderfully interesting and always very funny. Next one.
Section 5. Punya Pavana Samvada. The conversation of Punya and Pavana. Atraivodaharantimam Sanvadam Muniputrayo Asid Dirgha Tapa Nama Mahendre Jnanavan Munihi Putra Babhuvatus Tasya Punya Pavana Namakau. In this very matter, they narrate this conversation between the two sons of a sage. There was a sage by name Dirghapatas, possessed of spiritual knowledge in the Mahendra mountain. Two sons were born to him by name Punya and Pavana.
Going on.
Mata Pitror Viyoge Sao Aurdva Deha Karmani Punya Eva Sthito Vyagraha Pavano Dukkha Mayayao. On the death of the parents in the funeral rites, that Punya alone was intently occupied. Pavana became sorrowful.
So when your parents die, you have your responsibilities to do the funerary rites. So in old-timey days, you'd build the funeral pyre and the corpse would be on it. And I think you do chants and you walk around it several times. And isn't it usually the oldest son?
Mm-hmm.
And you take a plug and you open up the crown chakra so the soul can be released and stuff like that. So the older son here, Punya, is doing his duty. But the younger son, Bhavana is his name?
Pavana.
Yeah. With a P or a B?
P.
Bhavana, he's all upset. He can't participate in the rites because he's overcome by grief. Let's see what happens.
Pavano dharma buddho bhut Jnanavan punya evahi Pavanam shoka santaptam Punyo vachana vabhravit. Because Pavana was half awakened, Punya alone was possessed of spiritual knowledge. Punya spoke these words to Pavana, who was burned or afflicted by grief.
So Pavana has some information, but he's only half awake. And Punya is a man of wisdom. So he is not afflicted by the sorrow of his parents' demise. When I think I'm a body, I think other people are their bodies too. So let's see what Punya says to his younger brother.
Swameva paramam atma padavim mokshanamikam swabhava rupama panne kim pitarya nu shochasi. Why do you mourn over the death of our father, who has gone only to his own supreme position of the self, called liberation, which is of the nature of one's own being?
Yes. So the father was a Mahatma, a sage, a Muni. So his death is not a tragedy. I think I may have shared that when Swami Tapovanam, who actually died of dysentery, and his disciple says, "Oh, Swamiji, let us take you to Delhi so you could be treated." And he says, "Oh, so people don't die in Delhi?" "No, Swamiji, we want you to get treated. We love you." I love his answer. "You say you love me, when soon I will be eternally united with my beloved. And you want me to stay in this packet of sorrows? And you say you love me? What a different way to look at it." So Punya gets it. Pavana doesn't. And what is it really about? My loss. So let's see what happens next.
Mata pitra sahasrani samatinani te pura putra bandha vriddani janto janmani. Thousands of your mothers and fathers have passed by in former times, and so have multitudes of sons and kinsmen in every birth or incarnation of a living being.
Yes. So how many parents have you had and who have died? How many of your children have you had who have died? Sisters and cousins and aunts and brothers and sisters, dogs, kitty cats. Over thousands and thousands of lifetimes. Going on.
Shochaniya yadi snehat mata pitra sutadayah tarhyati ta na shochante katamete sahasashah. If the mother, father, son, and others are lamentable or fit to be mourned out of affection, then how is it that these relatives who have passed by in the thousands are not mourned for?
Yes. So some of you may have lost a parent or a sibling. You grieve. Who here has grieved the loss of a grandparent? Who here has grieved the loss of a great-grandparent? You were related to them. Great-grandparent? If you drive up Piedmont Avenue, you come to the cemetery. Very beautiful. If you go follow the road up and then go down the other side, those are where all the 19th century graves are. People who died in the mid and late 1800s. And there's weeds growing everywhere. And some of the headstones are kind of crooked, like they're topped over. Nobody remembers them. Nobody cares for their graves. Unless you're the Queen of England, nobody's likely to remember you in 100 years. All your accomplishments, all your relationships, gone. And we don't grieve them because we didn't know them. Going on.
Singhava Naramatangha Karakaka Diyo Nishu Pavana Tvam hi Jatosi Purashata Sahasrashaha. Pavana, surely you have been born formerly in the wombs of the lion, the monkey, the elephant, the ass, the crow, and the like, by 100,000s.
And some people are born two-legged into the womb of an ass. But the whole point is, we've been it all by the time we come to yoga. For many of us, final birth. And even if it's not, what does Krishna say? You can't take your money with you, but you can take your yoga with you. You'll be born again into a family of pure yogis, soon united with your knowledge. Finish the job. That's what he says. Going on.
Trayatya bandhavo yata tan katham natu shochasi. The kindred beings born there or in those incarnations have gone away. How is it that you do not grieve for them?
Yes. So all these relationships we've had in other lives. And it's interesting. I think many of us will have the experience. You meet someone in this lifetime, and for no apparent reason, there's just an incredible connection. And you may have someone who's a blood relative, and you're like strangers. Not a whole lot in common. Very funny how all that works. There's a poem about people standing on a shore and a sailing ship leaves the dock. And with loved ones on it. And it sails out. And then it goes below the horizon. It disappears from our sight. But at the other end of the journey, from the horizon comes a sailing ship. And it comes and docks. A new relationship. I love that image. Truth, our loved ones are not gone. They just disappear from our sight. That's going on.
Bhava bhava vinirmuktam jara marana varjitam Sansmarat manaman yapram ma tvam mudha matir bhava. Think calmly of the self, which is liberated from existence and non-existence, and is without old age and death. Do not be foolish.
Yes, remember who you are. The self in you is birthless, changeless, and deathless. And it's also the truth about the self of everyone else. Nobody dies. It's like a dream. It can be a pleasant dream, it can be a nightmare. But they never touch the waker. And even if you just are identified with the subtle body, that has a relative immortality. It goes on from birth to birth to birth. Nothing to grieve for. And we get a reflection of it in so many ways. How many of us, you're at a job and you get really connected to your coworkers, and then the project is over or the company closes. We've been such good friends. Let's stay in touch. How many of you done that? We're school chums. Yes. Hey, do you do it? You go back for your 50th high school reunion. How many of them did you actually bother to keep in touch with? But on the last day of high school graduation, but somebody. And the opposite too. You get married or have a love affair and it blows up. It's painful. And you can't communicate or talk to each other for a year or 2 or 5. But then 10 years later, you don't want to live with a person, but they become a good friend. You've been through so much together. It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. Going on.
Evam prabodhita tena tatha punyena pavana ubhavapi tato jatao jnana vijnana paragao evameva tvaya bhavyam chinta rahita chetasa. Thus Pavana was awakened or taught by that punya in that manner. Then both of them became profoundly learned in or persons who have gone to the end of spiritual knowledge and realization. Just so, it ought to be conceived by you with a mind free from thought or anxiety.
Yes. So, again, this text, 3 questions. Who am I? But also, what is this world? How has it come about? If the world is still agitating us, it means we have to continue to do the tapas. What is it that we need to do? Vairagya, vairagya, vairagya. That's what holds the afflicting nature of the world in place. It's the lack of vairagya. All right, going on.
Iti Shri Vasishtha Sangrahe Janakopakhyanam Nama Ekadashaha Sargaha Thus ends the 11th chapter titled The Story of Janaka in the abridgment of Yoga Vasishtha.
Okay, and then we get a whole nother version of it on Mondays. From the Ashtavakra Gita. Going on.
Dvadashah Sargaha. Chapter 11, Balyopakyanam, the story of Bali.
Oh, this is a good one.
Section 1, Bale Nirvedaha, the dejection of Bali. Vasishtha Uvacha, Chintane Naidhate Chinta, Twindhane Naiva Pavakaha, Nashyatya Chintane Naiva, Vinendhana Mivadanaha. Vasishtha said, anxiety grows by thinking, just as fire grows by fuel. It perishes by the absence of thinking, just as fire without fuel.
This is so important. And it is contrary to how most of us view things. Yes, we need to make the unconscious conscious. If you're acting out on some syndrome, you need to be aware of it. It might be of value to know where it came from, but not always. For example, I've worked with many people who exhibit the symptoms of either early childhood sexualization or maybe even childhood sexual abuse. But they cannot recall the memories. It's not important. All you need to know is identifying the behavior. You know, when you're having sex, you disassociate, you feel really passive, you feel really icky, stuff like that. Okay. Finding the traumatic event doesn't make it go away. You've got to be present to the feeling. See their fundamental unreality. And in the end, turn the mind away. So Tejo Bainand always used to say, you know how to get rid of your worries? Quit worrying. But too many of us have conversations with people who aren't in the room. That only solidifies, makes concrete bad experiences. We rehash our memories. And oh boy, do we want to tell other people about them. Let me tell you about all the horrible people I've been involved with. Let me tell you about all the terrible bosses. Oh, the corporate structure is, I have all this experience, litany. How I've been victimized. Or I'm such a terrible person. I've done all these terrible things. Let me give you chapter and verse over and over and over again. Somehow we think by venting, it's going to go away. No. The constant venting about an issue over and over again only makes it more and more real. And especially if it's some tragic story and we get sympathy. Do you confuse sympathy with love? If you confuse sympathy with love, then you have to have a tragic life all the time. Otherwise, no one's going to feel sorry for you. So in this shloka, we have to do the tapas, turning the mind away from that. This is why I'm so fond of the first sutra of the second chapter of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Tapas Swadhyayeshwara Pranidhana Kriya Yoga. Tapas, austerity. Swadhyaya, in the Raja Yoga tradition, it means a psychological inventory. Trustful surrender to God. This is called yoga in action, Kriya Yoga. So you start with the inside first. Personal inventory. You can journal. You can go to a psychotherapist. You can get deep tissue body work. You can meditate, which is the most direct and powerful, but you gotta do it. So you make the unconscious conscious. So you know what a liar, a cheat, and a thief you are. You know how your life is completely driven by fear and selfishness. You know what a pig you are. You know how you're ruled by ambition and greed and jealousy and envy and your chronic need for attention. Anybody have these kinds of character kleshas like me? Remember what I said? If you know your own mind, you know everybody else's. So you are honest. Now you have all these character traits too, these good ones. Character assets, your generosity, your kindness, your capacity to love, etc. Then, when you see that you have habituated flows of thought, that's what these kleshas are, then we do the tapas. Tapas is not sitting on a bed of nails. It's not just staying up all night on Shivaratri. Effective tapas is to turn the mind from habituated, non-conducive thought flows first into subhej, auspicious desires, and eventually into viveka vairagya. And we can't do it alone. Ishvara pranidhana. We need God's help. It's a wonderful, wonderful sutra. It's loaded with meaning. And here Vasishtha says exactly the same thing. So would you please read it again? So you know Jim didn't make this up.
Anxiety grows by thinking, just as fire grows by fuel. It perishes by the absence of thinking, just as fire without fuel.
So in the early stages, we think about something else. Think about your mantra. Think about the goddess. Think about serving another person. Ultimately, then, turn the attentive faculty to the self. To whom does this thought occur? To me, Koham, who am I? Who's worried about this? Ciao, get out. Who am I? There's no magic bullet. This is the Purushartha. This is where we have to exert ourselves. Any thoughts on this? All right, going on.
वैराग्येण च शास्त्रेण महत्वादि गुणैरपि यत्ने नाम द्विधातार्थम् स्वयमेवो न मेत मनः. Let one rate. Sorry, I read the wrong one.
Yeah.
विनिवारित सर्वार्थात् अपहस्ति तबान्धनात् न स्वधैर्यात् हृते किंचित् अभ्युत् arati sankatat. Nothing whatsoever saves one from difficulty except one's courage, the keeping away of all desires or objects, and the giving up of all relations.
Yes. So the renunciation, of course, is an inner renunciation. Sometimes, though, we have to get some physical space between ourselves and the objects. If you have difficulty, say, with drugs and alcohol, stop it. Commit yourself to abstinence. If you have difficulty with getting caught up on lust and sexual addiction and stuff like that, maybe you better stay off the apps for a while. Stay out of the what we used to call meat bars. Do they call them that anymore? Where you go with a specific purpose to pick up somebody and get laid. Do young people do that anymore? Yes, no?
I think they do.
Okay. This is Du Sangha. Du Sangha. Lower companions. Eventually, the yogi is free anywhere. He or she can go anywhere and be at peace. Once you've broken some of those really compulsive and addictive habits. And no shortcut. So I always like Shankar's definition of uparati. Uparati is sense withdrawal, like the tortoise withdraws its forelimbs and its head inside the shell. The yogi needs to be able to withdraw their attention from the phenomenal world contacted through the senses. But then Shankara says the best uparati is when, as you move through the world, you keep your mind tuned up so that the appearance of the sense objects don't create vrittis in the mind. You just let everything pass through. And if you see a reaction, oh, there it is in the corner, you notice it. Don't worry about it, but don't feed it. Any of you see the movie Little Shop of Horrors?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's a funny book. There's these carnivorous plants, and they sing and talk. Like, feed me. Those are like our glaciers. They're always yelling, feed me. Any thoughts on this? Going on.
Vairagyena cha shastrena mahatvadi gunairopi yatne napadidhatartam swayamevo namet manaha. Let one raise his mind by himself alone, by effort, for the destruction of calamities, through passionlessness, study of scripture, and virtues like spiritual strength.
Yes, vairagyena, by means of vairagya. That desire to give up attachment to all experiences gained through the senses and abandonment of any personal sense of self is how Shankara defines vairagya. And then by scriptural study, so we get reminded. Maya is so powerful. And part of its power is that it causes us to forget. So this is one of the reasons we continue our Vedanta Swadhyaya. In Vedanta, we do self-study as my own personal study of the scriptures. And then by those virtuous actions, yamas and niyamas, qualifications of a fit student, live according to the Dharma. Make your sadhana what your life is about. Have your job, have your relationships, have your home. But these are the places where you work out your attachments and your aversions. The real purpose of your life is moksha. Okay, one more.
Purne manasi sampurnam jagat sarvam sudhadravaihi upanad gudhapadasya nano charma stritai nano charma stritaiva bhuhu. When the mind is fulfilled or contented, the whole world is filled with ambrosial fluids. To one whose feet are covered with shoes, the earth indeed is covered only by leather.
Yes, so this is one of my favorite images. Why try to cover the world in leather when you go to wear shoes? The foolish person is constantly trying to play whack-a-mole with the world. The yogi, through her complete renunciation, is content no matter what state the world is in. This is what the Master Jesus meant when he said, my kingdom is not of this world. I'm in the world, but not of it. Or in Gita, the second chapter, what is day to the yogi is night to others. What is day to others is night to the yogi. What's day to others is more, better, different, cash and prizes, drugs, sex, rock and roll. Does not touch the yogi. What is day to the yogi? Atmaramana. Chidananda Rupam. And the people out there, the earthlings, have no idea it exists. All right, good place to stop. What verse are we on for next week?
Verse 5, 6.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om.